Okay, everyone. I guess I'll go ahead even before anybody comes on here so I can get this out. Uh, the title makes it pretty obvious about what I'm going to tell you. So, I was guarding. Hello, everyone, as you come in. It's June 13th, 2021, very late. Hello, as you come in. Hi, Mrs. Cat. Well, you're always here. Thank you so much. Well, you must have those notifications ready to go. I appreciate that. Hi, Jackie. Hello, everyone. So, I knew what this was a week ago when Nancy texted me about her condition, but I said that I didn't really want to bring out what it was for security reasons, and it's because I was concerned that, first of all, she didn't say I could tell anybody. And second of all, I thought that it could be a security problem because uh, people who want to cause others trouble could probably figure out with the diagnosis that you know you know get more information on her, and I just didn't want to go there. However, I just received a text from her husband, and he says it is stage 4 spinal cancer, and that's very bad, very very bad. I can imagine what some of her symptoms were, and I think I can explain some of that. About a month ago or so, she said that her back was hurting and that she couldn't lift things, and she thought that maybe, I think I said this before, that she had strained herself. But it just got progressively worse and worse and worse. This was a very quick onset situation, and finally the pain was too much. She also apparently was having trouble using her legs, and so she knew it was something more serious. But the pain was really the motivating factor in getting her to go to the hospital, and uh, she was reticent to do that, as I've explained before, because of all the medical malpractice that's going on right now, and the nonsense. But the pain spoke to her, and she had to go in. So her husband took her into the hospital, and they admitted her immediately, and she's been there ever since. So the diagnosis is in, and I guess it's confirmed. They're gonna do some other procedures tomorrow. I suspect, but it is stage 4 spinal cancer. So he asked me to let everybody know, and to please to pray for her. And it's funny because just prior to him texting me, Felicia Lockhart and I were talking on the phone about all of this, and how I just can't imagine not being able to hear her voice, giving her reports, several times a day. That feminine but very strong voice of power and intelligence and passion. And I'm a little selfish, and I don't want to put words in Felicia's mouth, but I think a lot of us are selfish that we don't want to lose that. Um, and of course, concern for her and her family as well, and the suffering that they're going through and the concerns. All of this adds together. But I think, as Felicia and I were talking about, um, you can negotiate with God. You can. Like I said before, it doesn't mean that the answer is going to come back yes. Um, I've been in this situation. I was in this situation 13 years ago when my wife had ovarian cancer, and I was begging that it would, in negotiating, I was willing. I said, take me, that kind of thing. But sometimes there are other things going on here, and I don't want to say what those things would be. I don't want to presume anything, but sometimes, and I almost hesitate to say this, but sometimes God lets the evil people have their way so he can judge them later. And that's a very simplistic thing to say. And I hope that we can have God turn this thing around with our prayers and our supplications. But there are a lot of people in the same condition right now. We all know that there's been a war upon the people, and that many things have been put into the environment, not because of our misdeeds, but because of the misdeeds of evil people who, as you know, uh, don't care much for their fellow human beings, if in fact the people that are doing these things are human beings, or if they're not possessed in some way. So it's been a war for a long time, and I think Nancy is a victim of this, and as many people are, uh, and could have been targeted even. I mean, there could be other factors as well, but that certainly could have a play into it. Certainly, if there was a predisposed condition, and I'm not saying she had one, but if she did, they could have exploited it, and that is possible. So yeah, and all of us want to help, uh, and having been in this situation before, I would say that it doesn't help to get inundated with everybody's ideas on cures, and I know that that's just an attempt to help, but unless we get it from some competent folks, and I don't mean establishment medical people. I'm not saying that, but I mean people that have a track record that I could verify. I would not inundate Nancy and her family with that with too much information on that. It just gets to be fatiguing, physically, emotionally, and mentally, even spiritually fatiguing, and it takes a toll. So that's probably not a good thing for us to do. But if hi Felicia, yeah, I got a text a few minutes ago, and he said to go ahead and put this up. It's funny, isn't it? Yeah. So praying right now is very important. I think um, out of all the people that I know and who are doing these things like Nancy has done, I know of no one that does it as well as she does. And it's been a voice of her voice has been a voice of confirmation, and not just confirmation bias, but confirmation and verification and warning, and in a succinct way, not long winded like I am. I think I've made those points before. She can say in 2 minutes what takes me a half an hour. And I have just so much appreciated that. And as Felicia and I were talking about, I hope I don't reveal too much here, Felicia, because our conversation was private. But um, there have been several times when I've wanted to just stop my YouTube and my Twitter, but primarily my YouTube. And Nancy's noticed when I haven't posted for a few days or whatever, and she would call me up and she'll say, "What are you doing? You got to get busy. I need your help." Kind of like with you, Felicia. We need you need to get out there and do this. We need to keep the word out there. And I would hesitatingly and somewhat begrudgingly go ahead and do a video. And amazingly enough, those were some of the best ones I put up, and they were at her encouragement. Um, One thing that I haven't done that she's asked me to do is to be more involved in my comments section, but I'm still not going to do that. I, I I just I don't I appreciate everybody that makes great comments like here on the chat, but so many times, of course, there's and I found this out, people that seem to be not necessarily agree with you, but at least on a friendly basis, willing to even openly debate an issue, it has turned out to very bad several times, and then they become not just contrary, but basically in an enemy status. And so um, I'm still not going to get too involved in the comment sections. At least during the chats on the live streams, I've got good people like Ms. Cat and my other mods who, I mean, and Nancy was one who could kind of keep those types of folks at bay. So at any rate, she has been an inspiration to a lot of people, and frankly, I can't see being without that. It's been an emotional week and several days, and uh, I don't like loss like this. The potential for loss, let's put it that way. The evil side just keeps going and keeps growing, and these lone voices, a woman, where are the men? I mean, there are a few of them out there, but where are the men that are standing up against all of this? And then here we have this wonderful, intelligent, sweet, and I'll tell you, beautiful. I think I mentioned before. She didn't want anybody to know that because she didn't want people to look at her looks and be concerned with that rather than what she has to say. But I will tell you, she is stunningly beautiful. Stunningly beautiful. And intelligent and spiritual. It's all wrapped up in one package. So her husband has said yes. Tell everybody what the diagnosis is, and ask them to pray for her and for anyone out there. Uh, if you have my Twitter account, um, I've already looked into spinal cancer. I did it a week ago to see what there is, and of course the typical treatments for it. First of all, aren't all that good, and some of them are quite invasive. So I couldn't really find anything that would be something that I felt I could pass on to her. So if any of you out there know anyone who has, and I mean a definitive treatment for something like this, maybe you could tweet me on the DMs or send me a message on Twitter, and I'll look into it. I've already had one, by the way. There's an individual on there who, as I talked about this thing the last couple of days, without having been told that it was cancer, not especially not spinal cancer, but uh, went ahead and sent some information to me about a really good treatment. And I'm not going to repeat it here. I can't even pronounce it. But we're looking into that, and if it's a possibility, and if Nancy is willing to accept some suggestions on treatments that are outside the norm, if she's willing to, I will forward them to her. Okay. This is very serious. You can look up the prognosis for something like this, and that's why I said it's dire. It's dire. So no, it's not COVID. All those rumors and gossips and people wanting to, well, now you know what it is. Okay. I'll take a few questions. What the heck? Yeah, I know about the Garrison diet and the coffee enemas, and I think even Nancy knows about that. Blue Raven, I didn't know you were ill. I'm sorry. Um, of course, it could be any number of things. I hope you can find somebody that can help you to take care of that. Thank you for praying for Nancy. Okay, Dr. Sebi. Yeah, pure porn. Thanks. Like I said, it would be best if you could, if you have Twitter, if you could tweet me there on DM. I'll open my DM page back up. I closed it uh, to the public some time ago because I was just getting some really nasty stuff. I mean, you know, porn, come-ons, things like that, and other bad stuff. People that want to invade your private life, that kind of thing, and want you to defend yourself. And yeah, I'm not into that. I don't have to defend a damn thing. But I'll open up my Twitter so that you can send me this information. Okay. Yeah, Patrick Lee, it is dire. That's what I said, and I knew it a week ago. That was the initial diagnosis a week ago, last Friday. But they were awaiting some other test results, and I guess they're going to do some more tests tomorrow. Um, I'd like to say some other things about that, but I'll just say the medical establishment sucks these days. They're just about them and about mistreating people. That's all they do anymore. I'm sick of them. Yeah, vitamin C and ozone, I've heard that as well. Fasting, yes. Fasting and prayer is definitely a good way to go. Um, yeah, the pain management thing has been a problem. I think I mentioned that in my other video. I think it was yesterday. They're withholding pain management from her because they're worried she'll be a and you know who put those things into place? Trump. And I realize there's some problems with the opioids and all that, but under circumstances like this is ridiculous. No, they're not, Mrs. Cat. That's one of the problems. Their pain management is actually zero, and that's one of the problems with all of this. Yeah, um, there are a lot of people. Thanks, ex-con. Yeah, I know. They're very competent researchers. She and her husband, as you can tell, right? So I'm sure that they'll be doing a lot of checking on their own. But what I fear, and this is where the prayers will come in more even than the cure. Okay, uh, what I fear is not that Nancy's a quitter, but that pain and this type of illness just takes so much out of you that you lose your will to fight. Okay, and um, with the state of the world right now and all of the evil things that are being done by the governments and the bureaucracies and all that, the temptation to leave this world and to go to a place with, you know, no hypocrisy and honesty and see as you are seen and true love, this place becomes less attractive. And I understand that, but by the same token, and I don't know what God's will is in this. I don't know. Maybe it's a test for us to see if we all agree that we need her here so much that his uh, his calling her to the other side is less important. But group prayer for her might give her the strength to decide that maybe it's okay to be here and to have the pain subside so that she can continue on. But I can't make that decision for her, and neither can you. But we can pray that God gives her the strength to first of all do what He wants, and second of all uh, to obtain the hopes that she has. So pray for her in that regard. Uh, intercede for her. Well, it's not really an intercession; it's a negotiation, like Abraham negotiated with God on the plains of Mamre with God about Sodom, 10 people. The way Moses did by saying, don't destroy Israel. Take me, blot me out of your book of life, but save your people. Um, God will negotiate, but that a lot of that has to do with us growing up, uh, being willing to talk to God like a father, and we His sons and daughters. Which is, by the way, the reason why there was a person in history called Honi the Rainmaker, the circle drawer. Honi the circle drawer. Josephus talks about him, and also James. When they prayed openly, they prayed as a father, as a son to a father, and that was by the establishment Pharisees, not the true the actual people in the country, but the establishment Herodian Roman establishment Pharisees and Sadducees considered that blasphemy to talk to God as if you're a son or a daughter, which of course is totally absurd. But at any rate, uh, yeah, I think that's where we are. So I'm sure those prayers will be appreciated. And sometimes, just so you know, and this hurts me to say, but I have to say it. Sometimes the innocent being taken from us is actually a judgment against the evil. No, I don't want that. Not at all. But that's why I say sometimes it's no is a perfectly good answer, even though it's not what we want. But there's nothing wrong with negotiating. There's nothing wrong with praying, especially that Nancy will have the willpower and the desire to remain, despite the fact that I think she has an absolutely glorious reward in the spiritual realms and in a resurrection. Okay? Yeah, I agree with that. John McNerney, our righteous acts work so our heavenly garments fight for the good fight. Yes, I agree. Thank you, East Coast Down. Uh, yeah, thank you, Rock Girl. And please spread the word. Almost immediately, everybody wanted to say COVID. Not everybody, but they're always, though, because she stood up against all of this, right? And so then they wanted to, come back down and say, oh, look, or some people just figured it might be that. But yeah, now it has nothing to do with COVID or the GMI or any of that. She refused any type of treatment. She wouldn't even take the tests. Okay. Yeah, 209 Tammy. That's one of sending prayers. Many, many prayers to such a beautiful woman with a big heart. Like I said, she's stunningly beautiful. uh, yeah. So spiritually, she's a giant. Um, Emotionally, mentally, intelligence-wise, and she could be a world-class model, the good kind. I mean, the good kind. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Fear Porn. Again, and if you have a Twitter account, that would really help me because I'll never remember all this stuff. But I'll try to remember that one. Matter of fact, let me write it down here. Hold on a second. I think that was Dr. Sebi. Yeah. Of course, now the pen doesn't work. There we go, Dr. Sebi, how to cure cancer. Okay. Like I said, I don't want to inundate her with too many things. Everybody has their ideas on these things today, and a lot of it's not really based on a whole lot of really good information, but I'll check that out. Um, and this spinal cancer, I am fairly certain, is different. It's not like treating, you know, uh, liver, pancreatic, whatever, any other type. This one's significantly different in a lot of ways. So, and frankly, I think she was targeted for it. Frankly, yeah. I'm not going to say what she has said what state she's in, as a matter of fact, but I'm not going to repeat it here. Sorry, Jeannie. I remember some time ago. I think it was about 2 years ago when I first started really bringing her up on the channel and promoting her. She didn't need that. She had far more. Yeah, thanks, Mrs. Cat. I'll do that as soon as I hang up. Okay. Um, Her channel is always bigger than mine. I don't judge things by that. But I forget what I was answering there. Sorry. I gotta look at these things. Let me see what it was. Anyway, it's late. Yeah, I forgot what I was saying. Sorry. When I look at the chat, that's one reason why I have a hard time with the chat, because it gets me off when I'm thinking my topic. Bethany, how you doing? Thanks for being here. Thank you for the information you sent. I appreciate everything, and I'm sure Nancy does too. Yeah, we actually have people here that are being nasty. Some Woody Hayes. It's somebody. Oh, he just retracted what he said. Okay, he wasn't thrown. Let's see. Oh, about the state. Um, People were saying, after I started talking about it, and they saw how we kind of jive there. People were saying, "Well, gee, you two, you ought to get married." And I had to say, "Hey, Nancy, you need to tell everybody you're married, so they don't start suspecting things here." And so she came on. She says, "Yes, I'm married and very happily married." And so, good night, Tango Liberty. And so I was glad that she did that, because I'm sure there were a lot of rumors flying. All there were. And also the fact, I think she mentioned where she lives, and she's even described her physical appearance to some extent, I think. But I won't do that here. Not now. If you don't remember, I just I'm worried that she needs some security at this point, as much as I can give her. Yeah, the reporter that got Ark incited. Yeah, the FBI is a worthless organization for anybody but the criminal elements in the government. That's who they work for. They don't give a crap about justice. And I had family members who were in the FBI, uncles, cousins. My brother went to the FBI academy. He wasn't an FBI agent, but he attended the academy, um, because they do that with senior police officials. Uh, and I've worked with the FBI several times. Uh, but if they ever were any worth, and that's questionable, they certainly aren't now. They are working for evil uh, objectives, and I think anybody that's honest with themselves knows it. Yeah, Brandon Kramer, love you, Nancy. Miss hearing your voice on a daily basis. Mostly the sense of peace it gave me. Yeah, rule of law is gone, John. That's right. Yeah, that's what I mean about Nancy. Her presentations, even though they were, you know, troubling, uh, she was candid enough to call it out as it was, right? And would give her. I loved it when she would say, narrator's note. She'd give her report, and then she'd go narrator's note, and then she'd let loose. And I got to tell you, she never did it on her program. She came close a couple times, but Nancy's not soft spoken. Professionally, she is, but when you get to know her, Oh, Cancer Man, Kentucky, you're a stage four. Like I said, though, this spinal cancer is a little different, but I'm not saying it can't be turned around. But I just don't want to inundate her with too much. That's not going to really be targeting the real problem. But yeah, in person, Nancy rants like, I mean, you think Alex Jones can rant? I know I shouldn't bring him up, but compare Nancy with him. I mean, it's day and night. But when she gets on a rant, I mean, holy cow! I mean, any all's fair in love and war, and she will let it rip, man. I'll tell you what. And it was really refreshing. You know, she's not mealy mouthed at all. She's professional on her reporting. Sometimes will let out her her feelings and her disgust or whatever. But in person, I mean, it's just unbelievable. I mean, my virgin ears, I had to, oh whoa, So I just love that. I love that type of honesty, and so okay. And she has a sense of humor. Oh, it is so. She'll tell you something, and just her delivery, you'll laugh. She's so witty. Um, well, thank you, Razor Queen. And like I said, I'll open up my DMs so that anybody can send them in. Yeah, not just, yeah. Sharing a couple of glasses of whiskey. Yeah, yeah. Actually, we talked about that. I can't really, uh, like I said, I've never actually gone to see her or anything like that, but we talked about under certain circumstances of her family and mine getting together and possibly doing that. So, yeah, hopefully that's still a possibility in the future. Okay. So, to end all this, I'll go ahead and go now, and I'll open up my DM on Twitter. Again, Nancy is stage four spinal cancer. She's in extreme pain, and I think she's had problems controlling her. I don't even know if she can walk, actually. I suspect it's probably at the point where she can't. And her husband has asked that we all pray for her. Uh, and like I said, I'm asking for folks who might have some information specifically, not just regular type approaches to this, but specifically on spinal cancer. If you have any information on some good non establishment treatments for that, let me know. Okay, and I'll look into it. And then the ones I think might be efficacious, I'll forward. Okay, okay. Thanks, everybody. I'm sorry it's so late, but I wanted to get this up tonight. All right. Everybody take care. Here for now.